Yeah, very good evening to one and all. Am I audible? Can you just give me your replies in the chat? Am I audible? Very good evening to one and all. Very good evening to one and all. Welcome to today's session. Fine. Yeah, I'll wait for 10 more minutes. Or I can start. Fine. I'll introduce myself. Students, very good evening. Yeah, what is there to know about communication today? Because everyone communicates, am I right? Fine, that is what I'm going to first give an introduction about myself. After that, I would like to start the actual presentation. Since this is the very first day, I feel I need some more 7 to 10 minutes more buffer time so that all would start joining and complete it. As soon as you complete joining, then it would be really very effective. Fine. So I'm Srikar. I've been working with ExcelR. I'm known to ExcelR for the last 1+ year. I have a certification in soft skills from IIT Mumbai. I worked for KL University as an assistant professor of soft skills. And I have 13 years of experience as soft skills trainer. This is a brief introduction about myself. Fine. So, see, students are whoever it is, anyone. Should you have anything to discuss, anything to communicate, you can message. Fine. You can message. Right. Yes. Now, before starting, instead of straight away starting, everyone communicates. I communicate even with my puppy, dog, animals also. Fine. So what is there that much to learn about? Is it something different from just communication and effective communication? What do you mean by it? How do you differentiate between communication with effective communication? What does that mean? First of all, let us try to understand what is effective communication. Yes, Yogesh Siddheshwar Patil. Yeah, you can message, no issue. You can message. Anything you have, you can message. So can you all define according to you what you mean by communication? How do you define communication? Please don't look at a search in Google. Please stop that. I need full-fledged, honest definitions which come from your brain. Fine. So since still I have someone to join, still joinings are there. So in the meantime, we'll start like this. What do you mean by communication? I am not getting any messages. I'm not getting any messages. Yes. Sending information from one to another, called communication. Very good. Remaining all, I need messages from each and every participant. So when we want to define communication, if you are not messaging, if you are not sharing your communication, this is called one-way communication. This is not two-way. Am I right? Exchanging ideas. That's really bright. Very good. Still. I need some more. Yes. I need I need each and everyone to be an active participant. Exchanging ideas and sending information from one to another, called communication. And remaining, I need all. How many are there? How many participants are there? Almost 244. In this 244, I received only from 245. Fine. Communication is exchange, meaning data between two parties. Oh God. Fine, very good. Which can explain what we mean to say and expressing our thoughts. Very good. What are you all doing, remaining all? The more number of definitions I get, the more number of clarity, the much better clarity I can give. Because I will tell you one thing, what you mean by communication, I need that clarification. Fine. So are we not going to get messages from the remaining participants, which can explain what we mean to say and expressing our thoughts? Very good. Exchanging their point of view. Okay, this is your point of view. Very good, very good. And remaining, what are you all doing? 273 participants, only 5 messaged until now, 276. 276 participants, only 5 I got. What are you all doing? Fine. See, I'll tell you one thing. Are you all listening to me? Type yes. Are you all actively listening to me? I need active listening. Type yes or why. Why is enough? Very good. Listen to me very, very carefully. Clarity of expression and enthusiastic to listen. Fine, very good, very good. If your SC is really true, please listen to what I'm telling you. Communication, you search anywhere you want in the entire across Google, across entire world. What you get is generally sender of a message would be there, first pillar, and the message in the middle, coding, decoding, and the other end, a receiver would be there. That's all. But definitely that is not communication. Communication is beyond all these things. Shall I tell you the exact correct definition? Highly practical definition for communication. Communication is the real communication. The real definition for communication is to make the receiver understand the way speaker wanted him to understand, wanted the receiver to understand. Real communication is, I'll tell you one thing. I told you something, you thought something else, finally you understood something. From my side, I passed the message correctly. My duty is over. From your side, you memorized it, you imagined it in your own way. You thought your duty is over. But finally, what I meant is different. What you understood is different. That means the speaker was not successful in communicating his idea successfully to the receiver in the way he wanted the receiver to understand. When the speaker cannot make the receiver understand the way he wanted the receiver to understand, then the communication is a failure. Got it? Please mark my words. This is the actual definition for communication. What do you mean by effective communication? Of course, we have PPT, we have a lot of content, all these things are there. Oh, many PPTs are there, much content is there across the world. If I tell you whatever that is available in Google, then that is simply waste. Fine. Communication doesn't mean the sender passes a message, coding and decoding happens, and the receiver receives a message over. Fine. No, that is not it. The speaker should be able to, the sender of the message should be able to make the receiver understand the way he wanted him to understand. The way the sender wanted him to understand the receiver. If the sender can make the receiver understand the way he wanted him to understand the message, then he is said to be a successful, he is said to be communicated successfully, or else it is purely a waste of time and energy. Right? That is the realistic, practical definition for communication, which you will not find anywhere across the world. To tell you simply, I tell you something, the students understood it in a different way. Finally, they misunderstood it. But what I said was correctly only. But students thought in their own way. But finally, what I meant was different. What the receivers understood was entirely different. If this is the aim, is there any meaning in communicating? No. It means the communication is a total failure, 100% failure. Right? From this, I'm beginning the topic. Principles of effective communication. What do you mean by efficiency? Efficiency means making the receiver understand in the way the communicator meant him to understand. If he is successful, then that communication is said to be. Your voice is not proper. Is it audible now? Is it okay now? Am I audible now, right now? Is my voice okay now? Fine. Right. Effective communication means if the speaker or the sender of the message can communicate or can make the receiver of the message, whoever it might be, in the way he wanted him to understand, if then only he is successful. Now, we'll see principles of effective communication. I will tell you one thing. Only trained communication can be a professionally successful communication. So what do you mean by trained communication? Trained communication means it is not just delivering a message. It is, what do you mean by trained communication? Trained communication means keeping the receiver's intention or reaction in mind in a professionally polished way. If the sender of the message sends a message, then only it can be called as effectively communicated professional communication skills. Only this can happen. This can only happen when the communication is a trained one. That is the reason we say training is necessary. With that, I'm starting. Never use words like words are energy. Why communication? Words are energy. Bruce Lee says. Bruce Lee, you know, everyone knows Bruce Lee. Now, my students, I'm not looking at the chat box, so no need to message. Right? Yeah. I'm closing the chat box. Bruce Lee says, words are, words are not just expressions, they are mantras, he says. If you give positive suggestion to yourself, your mind is filled with positivity. If you give negative suggestion to yourself or anyone, your mind, you will pollute your mind, you will pollute others' mind also. That means words are mantras. Sound has its own vibration. Why do people bless? Am I right? Because God bless you when they say, when they repeatedly, if they have real intention, good intention, definitely that vibration will carry a positive vibration, which is invisible. That's the reason why they say, you just don't communicate with anyone when you are angry, when you lost your temper. Why? Words are energy. Highly transforming energies they are. Never use words like defeats, failures, and problem. Always talk up something, a ray of hope, belief, faith, victory, always successful. Today, I'm not successful, no issue. I have learned what is not the way to perform a task. Today, I failed in something. What does that mean? That is also a success. How I have definitely learned how not to do a thing. Is it not your success to know? Yes, that is success. So when you use a positive vibration, a wave of positive word engulfs you. That means it surrounds you, raising your energy levels, putting you in a winning frame of mind. That's the reason they say words are energy. Use them in your favor. With words, you can change the world. Yes, it is possible. Fine. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but the echoes are truly endless. What does that mean? Mother Teresa says this. Kind words. See, when someone is in trouble, you may not be able to help them. But what do you mean by empathy? Empathy means standing, trying to understand the problem in their view and speaking. That is called empathy. So when you can speak kind words, definitely you are sending a positive vibes, and definitely it soothes their heart and mind and soul. That is what Mother Teresa means. Fine. So why is communication important? Because why is a flower used as a background here? The reason is it inspires life. Something flower giving life. It inspires confidence, builds respect, helps makes friends, reveals your ability to others, develops a distinct personality as a whole. Fine. As a student or as an engineer, employee, my job is, I'm just keeping this aside, my job is just to develop the best technical solution. So why do I need communication skills? In the entire audience, I might be having lots of software engineers, future software engineers who are very brilliant in coding and all these things. Sir, I have a BTech from IIT. So what do I need? That's over. My job is over. I'll get a job. That's enough. Very good. If that is the thing, then if you cannot communicate your intelligence to the world, then there is no meaning. Why did Bill Gates name it as Windows? The reason is by using the very word Windows, he communicates that he has developed such a platform that it can be used as a medium of communication to the entire world. Don't you think that that is not communication? The Bhagavad Gita is communication. The Holy Bible is communication. The Holy Quran is communication. Everything is communication. Advertisements are communication. Everything is communication only. Even exams are also communication. The word communication doesn't mean only doing something. Any written piece of work is also communication. So why do I need communication skills? Do I need trained communication? Yes. This is a common view from engineers. But what are your thoughts? So engineers, students as communicators. So is it necessary? Yes, the perception is like that. The fact is, many of our learners, students and practicing engineers prioritize technical skills over communication skills. That means I'm a very good hacker. Fine. Supposing I'm telling you, this is just an imaginary situation. I can hack any Gmail account. Very good. That is a great skill. But that alone will not help me. This is a mistake if I think that my ability is over there. And they will find out communication skills are every bit as essential as technical skills if engineers, managers want to be fully effective. What is the word used there? Fully effective in their jobs and have highly promising, successful careers. So if you have skill, very good, excellent. But if you can communicate with that skill to the entire world, that means you are at high end of success. So engineers are skilled people. Engineers does not mean only engineers here. Anyone who has skill as communicators, the reality, the ultimate practical. See, from wireless to wireless we are going. Now from wireless to the opportunity is endless. From wireless to with artificial intelligence, the possibilities are endless. Fine. In such a world, the reality is that in an engineering field, that effective communication skills are crucial to success in the workplace. In a recent survey conducted by American Society of Mechanical Engineers or whatever it may be, both society members and non-members in engineering related questions, respondents said communication skills such as business writing, technical writing, public speaking, and presentation preparation are highly crucial for success as engineers work in and among varied groups. See, I have very good skill. I was given a job in Wipro at Bangalore campus, Silicon Valley, or wherever it is, abroad. Think like that. I have a very good position and I'm enjoying a very good salary. Of course, my talent is like that. But if I speak very roughly with my project manager, if I don't have enough soft skills, enough negotiating skills, if I cannot communicate to my peers or my colleagues and higher authorities in such a way that I can impress them, then the whole skill would be sent to trash and dustbin. Am I right? That's the reason we need communication skills. So communication, the human connection is the highly key, is the very key to personal and career success. So these are the personal views on communication. So presentation, today's layout, communication and its components, barriers to communications, what are the actual realistic barriers to communication, 7 C's of effective communication, and listening comprehension, non-verbal cues, communication, and body language. So what is communication? Take a few moments. So it is defined as the interchange of thoughts or opinions through shared symbols, examples, language, words, and phrases. But did I agree with this? No. What did I tell you? If the sender can send the message in such an effective way and make the receiver understand the way he wanted him to understand, then that is the most successful definition, successful communication across the world. You search anywhere in the Google, you will not find such a practical definition. Across the Google, definitions are very limited. That's why please don't depend fully on Google. Fine. So why study communication? Why learn effective communication? The only completely highly portable skill it is. You will use it in every relationship. Personal, public, one-on-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many. Yes, you will need it regardless of your career path. So this is AI age, information age. Am I right? What is the most important thing in this world? Money, fame, no, information. If Russia has the information about who is supplying weapons to Ukraine, that's enough. That can cost a lot to Ukraine. Am I right? If someone has highly confidential Swiss bank password of someone's account, that is called a great information. Am I right? This is your information is your money. If you have the right information, that itself is the greatest asset. Am I right? So the history of civilization is the history of information. Language and written documents, of course, they facilitate the transfer of information in official way and knowledge through time and space. So why study communication? Your quality of life depends primarily on your communication skills. You cannot be too good at communication. So people overestimate their own communication skills. People think that they are speaking English in English correctly, but are they really? Only the situation decides. 3 things people judge about how you are, first appearance, fine, first impression. Next, what you thought, and how do you communicate, in what way do you communicate? And the third most important thing is, what is your behavior? Fine, 6.5 feet fellows, image can be thrown in dustbin if he says one simple wrong word. Am I right? That's it. People would laugh at him. So that 6.5 centimeters or whatever you call it, it's very small length of tongue can make or mar. Means it can win or lose anything. So history of communication non-verbal, those many years old, those many years written, 6,000 years ago, early writing, 4,000 BC, Egyptian, all those. Oh. 1 minute. I'm adjusting the slide. Yes, I'm changing the slides. I think sharing, pause share, stop sharing, and once again I will share. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. Now, please let me know. Are you able to see all the slides? Can someone tell me? Yes. Right. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. From the first, I'm going to show you once again. So this is the first slide. Words are energy. That's what I said. So Mother Teresa's definition. Next, why communication is so important. Next, so is it really necessary that if we have skills, is that enough? No. So common view is we have skills, that is enough. So the fact that communication skills can definitely make a huge difference. Fine. So communication and its components, barriers to communication, 7 C's of effective communication, listening comprehension, non-verbal communication, and body language. Yeah, someone once again messaged. Yes, sir, but not clear. What is this? Okay, fine. Right. This is the general definition. But why to study? Amar sir, could you please tell me, are you able to see all the slides?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Why study communication? All these things. History of communication. Fine, this is where we are there. Next, 4 facets of communication. There are 4 facets: sender, receiver, information, and behavior. Fine. This is the general picture you get across the world. Sensory data, it filters, it has beliefs, values, questions, and metaphors, whatever it is. So one type of state, encoding, meaning. From what are you sending? Is it a mail? Is it an oral communication? Is it a letter? Is it a speed post? Is it a phone call? Is it a video call? Or in what way? Is it just a gesture? See, someone is delivering a boring speech. No one said anything. Everyone started looking at his watch. That's the great communication. It means that your speech is boring. Please stop it. Am I right? Even that is also a channel. Am I right? Body language, great channel. Sensory data, fine. Filtering, decision making, receivers end. This is what? Just a communication process in a briefly. So in communication, sender will be there, the person who is trying to communicate or who communicates. Definitely the other side receiver would be there. Or sometimes if I am talking to myself, I am the sender, I am the receiver. That's a different issue. Take it aside. Now, someone receiver would be there. A message is sent to convey information. Definitely, information is meant to change behavior. It is expected to change. Yes. Why do we communicate? To share our ideas and opinions, to provide feedback to others. We want to communicate to do different things. We want to scold someone. We want to appreciate someone. We want to inspire someone. We want to share our thoughts. We want to share our feelings, gain power and influence, develop social relationships, maintain self-expression and a culture also, and other ideas you may have. N number of, why we communicate, N number of answers. So, how we communicate? Orally, written form, listening, non-verbal language, music is a great communication, art, craft, whatever it is. So, the means how we communicate endless. There are different ways. So, choosing your medium in person, depending upon the situation, one method of communication may be better than another situation. That means depending on the situation, your situation decides which is the best way to communicate. In person, one-to-one, meetings, small groups, presentation, oral presentation, seminars, workshops, you call it different names. Basically, we want to communicate something, large groups, letter, memo, notes, email, voicemail, whatever it is. So choosing your medium to determine the best medium for your message, determine what you as the sender need to achieve. What is your purpose of sending something? Without that, never utter anything. What the receiver needs to know. What is that you want the receiver to understand? What the receiver wants to know. How detailed, important, and how personal the information in the message is. Is it a personal message or can it be said officially? I'll tell you one single example. I'm not changing the slide. We are at the slide choosing your medium. I'm not changing the slide. Sir, can you please share PPT after completion? Who is this? What is the name of this person who sent this? Sir, can you please share PPT? Can you please message your name? I'm waiting. Sir, can you please share PPT after completion of the session? Surely I will see. But I need your name to be typed. Could you please type your name? See, that is the general attitude of students. Students, they don't want to listen to anything with concentration. They think that if they have the material, that this is Sai Nikhil. Good evening, Sai Nikhil. Wonderful, fine. So when I was a student, I also did the same thing. I wanted, immediate PPTs, all material to be with me, to keep it under my pillow. And if I think that if I have material, I'm successful. No. Sai Nikhil, definitely this PPT will be with you. Don't worry. But it is not important having PPT. I will certainly share it with Ahmad sir, in turn will share it with you all. No worry. Fine. Whatever I'm telling, that is recorded. And whatever I'm showing, that you will get it. Don't worry. Absolutely no worry. And additional material also you will get. Fine. Nikhil, done your job. But active listening means listening critically. Critical listening indicates something like, is it true? Is it not true? Analytical, highly analytical listeners I want. I want your minds. I want you to note in your minds, not to have just PPT. PPT, what is there? Right now I can share. Fine, Nikhil, that is my actual aim. So we have receiver needs, how detailed, important. See, here I am not changing the slide. I want to tell you a situation. What the receiver needs to know, what the receiver wants to know. Now, what happened? In a college, the principal himself was the faculty of English. Fine. He was delivering a very important lecture. Fine. This is the situation. Please listen to me very carefully. Now, since he was the principal, he had many visitors to meet. See, this is a real situation I'm telling. I was in the class as a student, as one of the students. Someone came and interrupted him. So he stopped explaining and he looked at him. That man from the outside of the class requested him to come out. He just stepped out. If it is not that much important, had it not been that much important, he wouldn't have called him out. So he understood the importance and he stepped out, stopping the class abruptly. After that, after stepping in, he talked to him in around 1 minute and he stepped in. You know what he said? He called one student and said he called him, and in a short distance, within just, almost whispering in his ears what he said, the principal and the teacher, faculty of English, both one and the same. What did he say? Mr. Enrich, things do happen sometimes. Don't worry. We are all there to support you. Nothing is going to be permanent. This is what he said. The fellow, Mr. Enrich, got completely confused. So the teacher was giving him buffer. So what do you expect now? There was a bad news. His near and dear expired. Very near and dear. So this guy would not be able to handle that or manage that, taking into his psychology. He may take it into heart, take it to heart. So what did he say? Things do happen sometimes, means that is the way he wanted to communicate. First, he gave him some buffer. He generalized that situations are common to everyone, so we are supposed to face it. And he said, enough buffer he gave him, and he said, this is what the situation is. No worry, we are all with you, the whole college is with you. See, the whole college is not going to share, the whole college will not be able to bring a dead man into a life. Yeah, that is impossible, but at least psychological satisfaction, at least some strength we are giving him. What did he say? Things do happen sometimes. Why am I narrating that situation now? The thing is, what the receiver needs to know, what the receiver wants to know. How detailed, important, and are personal the information in the message is. Is it a personal message? Is it such an important message? How detailed in what is the length and breadth of the message? How you should tell him. That is called choosing. If the chooser can, if the sender of the message can choose it correctly, that is called effective communication. Or else he could have called him and said, oh, so and so person already died. You run immediately and go. He can communicate like this. But what did he say? As a learn and as a very dignified, very calculative words he used. What did he say? Things do happen sometimes. No need to worry. This is a common phenomenon. We are all there with you. Fine. That is what he said. And then he delivered the actual message in such a polished way. That is called effective communication. So the last sentence I'm reading, which behavior you want to influence and how? What is the behavior you want to influence and how do you want to influence? Even that also you should assess and then communicate. But what do we do? We straight away utter it. Am I right? I changed it the slides. Can anyone read what is there on the slide? Yes, can anyone read what is there on the slide? Can anyone send me a message? What is there on the slide? First heading, choosing your medium. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, in how to choose, in what way you want to send, how would you communicate an organizational change in your unit? Think that a great change is happening in your units, in your organization. The introduction of a new employee, in what way you want to introduce a new employee, am I right? And a change in someone's job duties, a reprimand. You would like to, what do you mean by reprimand? You would like to scold someone in a very, very highly polished, dignified tone. Or you want to send a notice of a meeting. So take a few moments to write down some of your thoughts. Fine? So the best way to communicate an organizational change in your unit by memo and small group meetings, the introduction of a new employee by group and one-on-one meetings you can do, a change in someone's job duties by memo or one-on-one meeting or email nowadays, a reprimand in a one-on-one private meeting, not in the presence of everyone. When you want to scold someone, when you want to make someone know that they have committed a mistake, that should be in a polished way. Analyzing all the reactions, consequences, and then you utter in a private meeting. Reprimand means, so you want to make sure that someone did something, for that you want to scold him in a dignified. And notice of a meeting by memo and email. Fine, these are the ways. So you have to choose your medium. Next comes barriers to communication. What are the barriers? Barrier means what? What stops, what blocks your communication? Some common barriers to interpersonal communication include unclear process. What do you mean by unclear process? What do you mean by ambiguity? Ambiguity. The most highly precious, highly worst thing in this world is ambiguity. What do you mean by ambiguity in communication? One sentence, one expression, or one meaning may have two or more meanings, or completely entirely different meaning than the original meaning. That is called ambiguity. You told me something, but I understood it in a different thing because it is conveying a second and third meaning. That is called ambiguity. So this is called unclear process. The receiver and sender may not share the same language, slang, jargon, vocabulary, symbols, because they do not share the same language which we have compatibility. Then I misunderstand. Chain of command. There may be too many layers that a message passes through between sender and receiver. General manager, CEO to general manager. From CEO says something to general manager. GM says something to another manager. Another manager says to something to executive. Executive to finally when it comes to first line supervisors or the downline supervisors, the entire meaning of the communication may be completely changed. Yes, this can happen. So chain of command. Too many layers are there. Communication, 100% it may be misled. Large size of an organization, geographic distance also, large numbers of receivers required, good message, sending messages. Even this hampers. Personal limitations, physical and mental disabilities. I may not be able to utter an expression properly. For that reason, the receivers, you or whoever is listening, they may misunderstand. How did it happen? Because of my physical and mental disability. And differences in intelligence and education may interfere with mutual understanding. I'll tell you one thing. First, in some parts of this universe, the word issue means just something happening. For someone, I have an issue. Generally, we in Indians, what do we think? I have an issue means I have something unsolved matter which is troubling me. I have something unsolved which is troubling me. I have a sort of difficult situation. But South Africa, the word issue means entirely different meaning. Fine. So, personal limitations, education, intelligence, differences in them also may change the communication. They may stand as blocks or barriers to communication. Additional common barriers include interpersonal communication includes human nature, people's egos, prejudices, means the ability to judge without understanding. So jumping to conclusions. Traditions, my traditional way of telling me something different from his traditional way of telling something different. Then also communication may hamper or it may have a building block. Conflicting feelings, goals, opinions. If people feel on opposite sides of an issue, they may not share. That means I don't want to share. You may take it a different way. So I don't even it in a different way. So conflicting feelings, goals and opinions may also stand as blocks to communication, that is barriers to communication. Power, the idea that knowledge is power can lead to information, coding, and other ideas you may have thought of. See, power. The idea that knowledge is power, thinking that this information is power can lead to information hoarding. Information will be stopped, and other ideas you may have thought of. So thinking that this will have some influence, you will not share different other information which are actually useful to describe this one. So in such confidential issues also, power also blocks as barrier to communication. Share your ideas too. We generally share our ideas to state an opinion or position, give instructions or directions, announce a change, make presentations, participate in meetings, give information in emergencies, communicate the organizational mission, vision, values, etc. And other ideas. You may have many things to share. So what Obstacles means what stops to sharing ideas? What are the obstacles which stop us sharing ideas? Your own shyness. How others may take if I say like this. That shyness will stop you. Fear of rejection, fear of loss. If I share this, definitely that fellow will say no. So I will keep quiet without sharing. Peer pressure. My friend is blocking me. My colleague is not allowing me to share. Because of that pressure, I stopped sharing. Unorganized thinking. My thinking thought process is not organized, not systematic. In that process also, we cannot share properly. Others' possibility becoming defensive. If I say something, he will become defensive. That means he will not communicate his further thoughts and actions freely. So, why to tell unnecessarily this information? I'll stop it. So, that is called others possibly becoming defensive. Physical disabilities. Person who doesn't have proper sight, hearing, speech, proper hearing, he is not someone who is not able to speak properly. In such cases also, communication, sharing ideas, obstacles we have. Having to deal with aggressive people. Mr. XY is by birth aggressive. You tell something, he will be 99%, he will take it negatively. Then can we communicate? We can't, because even if you say good, you really worked well yesterday. Your productivity was really good yesterday. If I say this to someone who is aggressive, what nonsense are you talking? Do you want to mock at me like that? So you are making such a sarcastic comments against me. This will be the reaction. So with such people, we can't share our ideas. And others you may have topics. Anything, your personal reasons, which can stand as obstacles to sharing ideas. So sharing your ideas as a model. State the main point of your message. Then highlight other point, important points. Assure the receiver's understanding. React to how the receiver responds. Emphasize, summarize your main ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In these 5, which one do you think is most important according to the definition I gave? First one or second one, third one or fourth one or fifth one? Which one is really equally important? Can you give 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat box? 1 means first sentence you think that is important. Very good. Yeah. Who is this 3? Who typed 3? Very good. Who is this boy? Please message your name. Who typed 3? First 3 I got. Who is that? Can you real appreciation to him? Siddharth. Siddharth Day. I'm sorry if I'm not able to pronounce your name properly. Very good, very good. According to what did I say? According to the definition I gave, assure the receiver's understanding. What do you mean by according to the definition? That is called active listening. Please try to understand the question properly. Don't jump to conclusions. What did I say? According to the definition I gave in the very first introduction, in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, which one is more important? Not in general, according to the definition I gave. That is the underlying word. So according to the definition I gave, assure the receiver's understanding. Make sure that the receiver also understood in the same way you wanted him to understand. Make sure. Means you ask him, yes, is this the way you understood or is it a different way? And then proceed, react to how the receiver responds. And then emphasize or summarize all those things, your main ideas, conclude, whatever name you want to give, you can give. At last you can do that. Very good. Yeah, I've closed the chat box. So state the main point of your message. Example, I would like to talk to you about the new employee welcome program. Straight away coming to the problem. Coming to the thought. Good morning to one and all. Today, this really gives me an opportunity to share a great thing. Definitely, it's really a great thing to see you all in front of me. See how long it has been, I met you all, today it looks our office very colorful day. These are all fillers like unnecessary gas. Yes, this is like unnecessary trash. Always communicate clearly. The length of the communication should be minimized. If I use the longest word in English language, it doesn't mean I'm great. No, it means that I'm a mean fellow. How simple, with what simplest words you can use and come to a straight point, there you become a successful communicator. State the main point of your message. Good morning to one and all. Is enough. You need to unnecessarily say this is really colorful. All these things you made stay colorful. That is all unnecessary. I would like to talk to you about the new employee welcome program. Yes, that is the main point. The base is introducing new employee welcome program. That's highlight other important points. What is the next agenda highlighting? We need to discuss the new schedule, or schedule, whatever way you want, locations and present tense. Assure the receiver's understanding. So do you need me to further clarify how we are making invitations? That means you want to make sure that have they understood this is the purpose of your communication or not? You are making it once again sure. If somebody is thinking in a different way, he will ask a question, you will say, no. This is not what I want you to think. This is what I want you to understand. You will assure, you will make sure that that fellow receives your information, communication properly. Next, react to how the receiver responds. I understand your concern about parking. Yes, if we do this, parking becomes a problem. Tomorrow, if we want to gather to welcome this new employee or new CEO, new boss, whatever it is, definitely all will be there at the same place. Parking, yes, I understand your concern. Next, emphasize, summarize. Emphasize means give more focus. To wrap up, I'll develop the schedule and make the room reservations. If you can line up the guest speakers. So you are summarizing it, emphasizing the real summary conclusion. This is one method you can follow for simple, clear expression. Now, more or less effective listening skills. Communication does not mean speaking one way. We think the speaker is going on communicating, even in a speech also, some speeches, some inspiring speeches also, you need the receiver. See, I communicate well. When do I communicate? When the active listeners are there. My class can become successful if active listening students are there. Or else, what is the use? It's a waste of time. A great person like Swami Vivekananda is delivering a great speech. If listeners are not active, what is the use? Am I right? So, more or less effective listening skills. So, we need students, we need learners, we need listeners, highly active. That means not body present, mind absent. I am in the class, but my mind is in Kashmir Valley. Or my mind is in, I support Russia, so I'm worried about what are the new weapons Russia is going to manufacture, and look at the teacher who is teaching and nod my head and give a pose that I'm listening. If a question is asked, I'm caught. It should not be like that. It should be active and listening should be focused. Fine. When you have, see, I mean to say, Hyderabad to Mumbai flight, there is a change in the gate. Instead of 24, it is coming to, there is a change of information regarding gate. It is 32. That is focused. Your attention, please, number 5265 or whatever it is. Vizag LP Express is expected to arrive at platform number 7 within a few minutes. How do we listen to train information? How do we listen to change of itinerary in airports about flights? That is called focused listening. That means listening should be highly focused. You can't miss even one single sound. Yes, paying attention from the first to the last. Ask questions if necessary. Asking questions means not troubling others unnecessarily. If it is necessary, an active listener doesn't mind to ask questions. The problem with this generation, artificial intelligence, this wireless generation is no one asks a question. They think that if a student asks a question, people would laugh at him. That is the conclusion a student gives. No, it's a failure actually. If you are not getting any doubts, either you know everything or you don't know anything or you don't want to know anything. These are the only three reasons. So you must ask questions. Keeps open mind. Mind is open. What do you mean by mind open? See, when a glass is full of water, can you pour anything? No. Fine. If the glass is empty, you can pour something. Means your personal prejudices, all these things, you keep it aside. Make your mind a neutral mind and listen to him. Assimilates information. You gather information and connect idea to idea together. That means you are an effective listener. The right side you see. Passive, who always wants to sit in the last bench only, laying back for everything, going back. Easily distracted, class is going on very effectively, the teacher is teaching very effectively, or the speaker is communicating very effectively. An electrician enters the hall to repair a fan. No, we all get distracted. We are more focused on who is that fellow, why did he enter the class? That is called easily getting distracted. And Aya is calling someone or shouting at someone in the corridor, immediately we are bothered about that. Why our mind is diluted. It is distracted easily, it loses its way and flies like a butterfly here and there. So that is easily distracted listening should not be there. And a fellow who is not an effective listener is not a good communicator. He asks no questions, has preconceptions. He already decided this is the end of the speech and he is that way. That means he already has his own opinion first. That is preconception. You should not have any such conceptions. Disregard information means this information is worthless. Wait. With that idea, if you start listening anything, you will become a wrong listener or a passive listener. That means if you are not listening properly, you are not playing the right part in effective communication skills. Effective communication does not mean only talking like a chatterbox or barking like a dog always. If you are a good listener, that is also effective communication skills. Hope you all got my point. Fine? Thank you. Next. So some tips for improving written communication. Use always simple words. Because of sheer procrastination, I could not mail you yesterday. This is the mail. If I send it to my colleagues, first of all, they have to copy the word procrastination and type, paste it in Google and see what do you mean by this bloody word. That means I'm wasting how many colleagues' time you see. Because of simple negligence, I could not, or my postponing. Procrastination means postponing nature. That means instead of using simple words, if I use high sounding words, vocabulary, it is wrong communication. Maybe people like me who have more, or people like someone who has better vocabulary might appreciate it. But when a communication goes to many people, it should be as simple and as clear as possible. Use simple words and phrases. Use short and familiar words. Enumerate the causes for Second World War. I saw a question on 6th class social studies paper. The boy could not understand the word enumerate. Then he omitted the question. Enumerate means write in the form of a list one by one, one by one. That is what it means. List out the causes for Second World War. Your question paper is a communication. Who is the receiver? The students. One might be having more intelligence than the teacher. One might be below average. One might doesn't understand some words. So use always simple, short, familiar words. So list out the causes for Second World War, not enumerate. I make understand or elucidate. Elucidate means to make it more clear. Elucidate, if the word, if students don't understand that word, they might be knowing the answer properly. They can answer the question very well, but they omit. That means I'm spoiling everyone. This is what it says. Effective communication means use short, familiar words as far as possible. If not, if there is no other option, then that is a different issue. Use personal pronouns such as you whenever appropriate. Give illustrations. Try to pictureize things. Examples. Use charts. Charts does not mean emojis. Use short sentences and paragraphs. Instead of 2 pages, if I can explain the same thing in 2 paragraphs, above, I am a very good communicator. And that is an effective communication, of course, without losing the actual meaning. Use active verbs. It was decided by the management that tomorrow would be declared as holiday. Why passive voice? Always use active verbs. The management decided to declare tomorrow as holiday. Simple. It was decided by management. Why passive verb? Why roundabout expressions? That is not good communication. People may think that the roundabout way of expressing is great thing. No, not actually. Use active verbs, not passive verb. Passive verb, you have to use, the uses of passive are there. You have to use passive voice only when if it is really needed, not for anything. Use active verbs. Fine. Avoid unnecessary words. 7 C's of effective communication. For transmitting effective written or oral messages, certain principles must be followed. These are sometimes called 7 C's. Completeness. Is it really complete? Is it concise? Means, does it include all the things that it should do? It should include. Is it really clear or appearing to be clear? Or is it leading to ambiguity? Are you grammatically correct? Is your sentence really correct? Are you considering the reaction of the listeners? Are you really courteous? Have you chosen a dignified way of communicating? Or have you chosen something like a countryside village fellow who wants to communicate it in an entirely different way? That is courtesy. Next, concreteness. Are you really communicating ideas concretely? That means, are you assertive in nature? That we'll see. Completeness. Every communication must be complete and adequate. Incomplete messages keep the receiver guessing, create misunderstanding, and delay actions. If your message is not complete, the receiver will try to understand it in a different ways. He will try to start guessing infinite number of guessings will be there. It creates finally misunderstanding only. And what happens when they misunderstand? Delayed actions. Every person should therefore be provided with all the required facts and figures. For example, when factory supervisor instruct workers to produce, he must specify the exact size, how much they should produce, how much shape, in what quality, and cost of the product. All these things, it is the duty of the factory supervisor to instruct properly. Any assumptions behind the message should also be clarified. If someone, after sending clearly also, completely also, sometimes people keep still asking some assumptions. Okay, this much only, then you have to give very good clarification. While answering a letter, all the questions raised in the letter must be replied. Tips: provide all necessary information. Make sure, are you providing all necessary information or not? Answer all questions asked. Give something extra when it is necessary, desirable. Means give something extra information. Conciseness. What do you mean by concise? Oxford English Dictionary. What do you mean? Why do they use that word? Are you able to see the Oxford Dictionary picture here? Please message us if someone. Are you able to see Oxford Dictionary's picture? Yes, sir. Thank you. Why did they say concise Oxford Dictionary? Be brief. What do you mean by conciseness? Be brief and be able to say whatever you have to say in very few possible words without sacrificing the other C qualities. So conciseness is desired because of the following benefits. A concise message saves time and expense for both the sender and the receiver. So you wrote create 2 to 3 paragraphs about what are the different reasons for taking that much 15 to 20 days leave. But when the word subject it says my detailed explanation for taking that much leave or request for 2 days permission, request for 2 days leave, request for 2 days LVP. Enough. What is this entire great 1.5 page? That subject says. So where you have to be clear, you have to be clear. So conciseness is desired because of the following benefits. A concise message saves time. Oh, without even reading that, oh, this entire 2 paragraphs are telling me that he wants 2 days more leave. Oh, that is the thing. Fine. I will come to a conclusion. Or the receiver comes to a conclusion. Conciseness contributes to emphasis by eliminating unnecessary words. You let important ideas stand out. What is the important word you think necessary? That only will be anyway. Remaining all things, conciseness means when you want to keep things brief, you will unnecessarily things you will eliminate. When combined with a you view, concise messages are inherently more interesting to recipients as they avoid unnecessary information. That means always communicate something in standing the receiver's view. You imagine yourself in the receiver's view and think, if I am the receiver of the message, how, in what way will I understand? After that only, you try to send the message. Very good. So some tips, eliminate wordy expressions. I said, because of the sheer procrastination, I could not message you. So such wordy expressions should be avoided. Include only relevant material. Avoid unnecessary repetition. Fine. I hope anyone can understand this. Clarity. Clarity. C for clarity. What do you mean by clarity? I'll tell you one thing. Of course, this is not information. The example which I am giving is not information, but it's a real incident. What do you mean by clarity? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, as I hope he is the thing. He is the person who was the home minister when Gandhiji was assassinated. So Gandhiji was assassinated. He received a call. Someone told him, informed him, sir, Gandhiji was assassinated in this way. Then generally a common man, what do you do? Oh my God, Gandhiji was assassinated. Who killed him? How did someone to kill him? Where did it happen? Yeah, and let me run and reach the situation and start doing something. But as a home minister, he thought in what way, as a home minister only. He has such a clarity. Immediately he asked only one thing. Does the killer belong to this religion or that religion? This is the sentence he asked. Why, as a home minister, if the killer belongs to type A religion, the consequences in the country would be different. Type 2, option 2 religion, the consequences will be different. So as a home minister, he has to take necessary action. That is called thought clarity. Of course, in communication, also what he meant, he asked. So clarity means getting your message across so the receiver will understand what you are trying to convey. You want the person to interpret your words with the same meaning you have in mind. What you thought, that the receiver also should think in the same way. Accomplishing the goal is difficult because, as you know, individual experiences are never identical. What do you mean by accomplishing the goal is difficult? Because what I thought, my receivers of the message also thinking in the same way is not an easy task, because we have different unique minds, perceptions, right? Still, and words have different meanings to different people. Still, how much clear you can be, that much clarity you have to give. Choose short, familiar conversational words. Construct effective sentences and paragraphs. Achieve appropriate readability and listenability. Include examples, illustrations, and other visual aids when desirable. Correctness, yes. How grammatically correct language how correctly are you communicating your communication, right level of language and accuracy of facts, figures and words. If the information is not correctly conveyed, what happens? The sender will lose credibility, means he will lose trust. Transmission of incorrect information to outsiders will spoil the public image of the firm. Incorrect statistics you gave, you are working for a great company, like a great company, a very well-known company like Fortune 500 companies, listed company, you made a small mistake which can cost a lot in the statistics. Fine. So correctness should be there. To convey correct messages, grammatical errors should also be avoided. Grammatical errors does not mean simply pressing Grammarly. No, Grammarly cannot give you 100% surety. Even that is based on technology. I have many, see, chapterization is there in my PhD thesis. When someone pressed Grammarly, it showed chapterization. R-I-Z-A instead of R-I-Z-A, it automatically corrected that as L-I-Z-A. The fellow who wanted to correct my thesis, he kept it like that only. When I checked it was not chapterization, it was chapterization. Chapterization means some chemical compound, some reaction related to chemistry. Oh my God, then I thought, what nonsense is being happening? Grammarly is there when you have enough knowledge to check small issues, you can use Grammarly. But your knowledge should be more than Grammarly. Then Grammarly would be helpful. So if your knowledge is under Grammarly, definitely instead of chapterization, you will write it as chapterization and think that is correct. When your guide sees, he scolds you by calling you personally. So even chapterization, there is no mistake with the spelling. That's why Grammarly took it is change it correctly. But you should have enough knowledge whether that is really correct in that situation, in that context. So grammatical errors should also be avoided. You should not transmit any message unless you are absolutely 100% sure of its correctness. Use right level of language. Check accuracy of figures, facts, and words. Correctness does not mean only language. Actual accuracy of figures and facts and words. Maintain acceptable writing mechanics. Consideration. Consideration means that you prepare every message with the recipient in mind and try to put yourself in her or his place. If you are the receiver, how will you think? How will you react? That is called consideration. You want to convey that someone's friend met with an accident. That fellow will collapse if you say like this. Am I right? That fellow, your friend, close friend, that fellow already met with an accident and he no more. This is not the way you are supposed to convey. Is he sensitive or not? To what extent he is sensitive? If you were in his position, how would you receive that one? Estimate that, calculate that, come to one conclusion and choose which is the best way to communicate and then tell him. That is called consideration. Oh, I hope you all understood. Try to visualize your readers with their desires, problems, circumstances, emotions, and probable reactions to your request. Then handle the matter from their point of view. This thoughtful consideration is also called attitude. Empathy. Empathy means the ability to think in others' viewpoints and try to understand them as they are. That is the human touch and understanding of human nature. So what are the traits? Focus on you instead of I and we. So instead of your point, focus on receiver's point. Show audience benefits. Emphasize positive, pleasant facts. Courtesy. Courtesy stems from sincere attitude. If you want to be courteous, considerate communicators should follow these suggestions regarding tone of the communication. Be sincerely tactful, thoughtful, and appreciative. Omit expressions that irritate, hurt, or belittle. Belittle means make someone's image very less. Don't use such expressions. Grant and apologize good-naturedly. Accept my sincere apologies for not responding yesterday to a mail. First sentence is that fellow will cool down. I'm terribly sorry I could not reply you yesterday because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reasons. You skip that. the other receiver will understand that you were really very busy yesterday. So concreteness. What do you mean by concrete? Cement. Communicating concretely means being very specific, definite, and vivid means very clear rather than vague and general. Vague means what? It can give you almost you told it looks like, but you did not tell it correctly. Ambiguity arises, not in that way. Completely specific, completely definitely. You should express it properly. The following guidelines should help you compose. Use specific facts and figures. Put action in your words. Choose vivid means highly narrative. That means when they read, they should be able to clearly, easily imagine clearly. Image building words. Getting good information. Why is it necessary to get good information from others? Take a few moments to write down some of your thoughts. The power of listening. Listen actively. This I already told you. Fine. Create a need to listen. Set aside the time to listen. Give enough priority. Don't prejudice the message. Don't bring your own judgment there. Monitor the way you listen. Am I really listening very well or not? Obstacles to giving constructive feedback. We travel a flight's journey, but we don't give feedback. We think that we are busier than Mukesh Ambani. Per minute, Mukesh Ambani earns 50 crores. Are we really busier than him? No, but we don't give feedback. Or even if we give you instead of giving a positive feedback, we always see the negative side of a flight operation and try to give always negative feedback. Dividing, we means not all, some of them. Give such thing. No, constructive feedback. When you want to say that this is not the way it should have been done, you can tell them directly only, but in a very polished tone, separating the person from the problem. You have to separate the person from the problem. Others becoming defensive or angry, keep that in mind and give constructive feedback. Fear of negative consequences, that fellow may react negatively, especially if the other person is a supervisor. Yes, superior now, that's why you have to keep that reaction in mind and act accordingly. Dealing with potential conflicts, something which really has a great conflictivity, especially if the other person is so aggressive, you need to keep that in mind. Avoid hurting feelings. Preserving relationships. If I do this, if I tell that feedback, I should not lose that person as my friend or my well-wisher. You have to preserve the relationship. Not having all the facts and jump into conclusions, you should not do. Choosing, sir, your screen not viewable to me. Maybe, is the screen visible to all? Please type Y. Is the screen visible to all except 1 or 2 means that might be technical problem from their side. Is the screen visible to all? Type Y. Obstacle to giving constructive feedback. That is what it is there in the present slide. Fine. Thank you. So maybe that might be from your end. 1 or 2 might have technical issues. So choosing the right time. Okay. Choosing the right time so that the other person is most receptive means he receives it properly. And other ideas you may have considered, your own personal things also you can. So this is what about communication. Fine. We'll end up this communication part here and we'll take up presentation skills and public speaking, right? Now, what is the slide that appears in front of you? Can anyone type the first sentence? What is the topic now we are going to discuss now? What is the change of slide? Can someone type it? We have the second topic now. Second and third, I mean to say combined together. Effective presentation skills. Thank you. That means the slide is visible. Effective presentation skills as well as public speaking. So whenever you want oral presentation, how do you present yourself with PPTs? Generally, PPTs are useful. Am I right? How do you present? Now, how do you introduce yourself? Introduction, a very good, effective introduction. Who am I here? And who are the listeners? And what is the purpose you are here? That you have to make it clear in introduction. Who is he or she? The word she does not mean only feminine gender. Who is he or she at the other end? Journalist, Chamber of Commerce CEO, PR lecturer, marketing executive, event manager, fundraiser. If it is fundraiser, our way of defining things would be different. Our business owner, failed politician, are desperate for a new challenge every day, blogger, vulnerable other, lifelong learner, the apprentice, finalist. Who is the other person? What are their profession? And why are they there? That you have to keep it in mind. Why PowerPoints presentations are best preferred oral presentations? Because first impressions count. People will judge you even before you speak. So PowerPoint PPT presentations gives you and your audience direction. What is direction? Something contents in a pleasant, smooth way appearing there on the slide. It provides a useful series of handouts that participants or the listeners or the viewers or the audience can take home with them. It is highly user-friendly. So 3 C's of PowerPoints. Communication. Does the presentation effectively tell the audience your message? Every component of the presentation should add to the communication. Creativity. How creative are you presenting your presentation? Does the presentation appeal to the audience? Is it giving an impression? Have the color choices, graphics? A fellow like me who sits at the very edge of the last bench, am I able to really see? Keeping that in mind, you have to choose your colors. White background, black text, visible from everywhere. Am I right? No, that is, sir, ISB, Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, Indian School of Business, Mohali, Indian School of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, fine, they have their own technical arrangements, fine. You can choose according to your favorite colors, even that is fine. Where are you going to give the presentation? What are the technical fails that can be expected? So keep that in mind and design your slides. Consistency. Does the presentation have a similar style from slide to slide? Have the guidelines for text, graphics, transitions, and special effects being followed? One slide, one way. Second slide, first paragraph in a different font. Second paragraph in an entirely different font. Third paragraph, it is something we can't even see. The best eyesight fellow also cannot see such a glaring combination. And when you change the slide, completely different style slide. As if it looks, I have assembled 100 slides. It should not be like that. At least some relevance should be there. Am I right? Presentation preparation. Plan for impact on your audience. Script, visuals, delivery. Think that the presentation, everything should be in your mind. Not by looking at each and every word and sentence you are going to present. That means your planning is not effective. Plans never fail. We fail to plan the plans properly. So planning, preparation, the best thing for work, the best thing for presentation, the first thing for public speaking is. Without planning, you can't do anything in this world. So how impactful, impressive your presentation should be? You have to choose and script, visuals and delivery. You have to choose it first and decide it that much appealingly. Practice. Of course, when it is verb form, it should be PRACTISC, and if it is noun form, PRACTIC. Practice simplifying your presentation for easy understanding. Simplify it for the audience and inspire them, involve them, inspire them. Visualize figures and statistics. Make boring technical presentations come to life with graphics, video, sounds. Even when you choose statistics also, it should be very colorful, very appealing. Colorful does not mean glaring, appealing. Fine, manage the power of your voice. So when you want to raise your voice, where you should lower your voice. So intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, plan it. If it is possible, give 5 times, 10 times, 15 times in front of your family members, in front of your friends. You don't do that, but you have to do that. Free your body from open body language. My nerve endings, my fingers are shivering. Even from the last bench, audience also is able to understand that I am shivering because my presentation, I have nervousness. I did not practice properly. My preparation is not up to the mark. While telling any word, I'm shivering. You know, they can see and they would laugh at themselves. Sometimes they laugh loudly. So you should not have a very tight body language or as if you are restricting or shivering body language. You have to practice in such a way that you have a very, very open and easy-going body language, open body language. Engage the audience with the power of stories. You can bring some nice stories and tell some case studies. Develop your personal presentation style. Field questions effectively. See the art of public speaking now. The time is already 8:30, so the art of public speaking. Public speaking, sir, everything is artificial intelligence. I have chat PG or chat GPG, I have. Everything it's giving. Who is going to listen to my speech? No, it's not like that. Always successful, inspiring people changed lives of many countries with 1 or 2 speeches. Remember that. So public speaking success is for informing, educating, engaging, inspiring, persuading, means convincing, entertaining, memorable for right reasons, great first impression, think on your feet, audience analysis, audience rapport, how would you describe your technique? So public speaking success involves everything. Writing content, understand your presentation theme, know your audience, how much time do you have? Segment your speech or presentation, introduction, core messages, make first point, back up with anecdotes, a small story, make second point, give example, make third point, give illustrations in as like in case study, concluding, sum up, effective stop when you sum up. At the tempo, you keep it going on rise and suddenly stop it abruptly, end it effectively, your speech or public speaking or presentation. Good. And there you say, thank you all. So get to know yourself. Look at everyone from this corner to that corner. Have a smile, not a fearing smile. Have a professional smile. We have different types, a number of types of smiles. No, highly easy going, very smoothing, very professional smile. Your voice should be audible. Gestures, your hand movements, all body language should be very easy going. Your expression should be very emphasizing. Body language should be very open and clear. Eye contact without looking at the eyes of audience. You do either presentation or public speaking, it is going to be a failure. You must be able to look at each and every audience, if not each and every, at a glance. You should have enough guts to look at someone and speak. Breathing, you need not stop breathing. You can have regular breathing. That means how your practice and preparation gives you all these things. Inflection, the movement of your tongue, I mean to say, your voice and tone, in what way you want to give information or deliver your speech. Emotions presenting. How did you feel presenting? Be aware of those feelings. How can you channel the nervous energy into positive outcomes? So nervous energy would be there. How can you turn it into positive outcomes? What would you do differently? Yes, I want to be successful other than other speakers. See, Swami Vivekananda, when he started his speech, everyone said in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, every American said the same thing. But Swami Vivekananda was the only person who said, sisters and brothers of America. After that, they did not allow him to speak. For 4 minutes, there was a standing ovation. One single statement, sentence, which won majority of American fans the next day. One single day, he won the lots of Americans fans with one single expression, sisters and brothers of America. Narendra Modi ji, the Prime Minister of India, when he addressed the American Congress, what did he say? AI is ruling the world. Another AI, that is America and India. See, I don't belong to any party. I'm dealing with the only effective way of communication. So you should be able to give such lively examples. Fine. So how can you do it differently? Think once and have your own ideas. Sweaty palms, yes. Butterflies feel like going here and there. Shaking legs. Quivering lip means your lips are shivering, trembling voice, as if somebody is going to beat you. Like that voice you don't use. Embrace the emotion, channel it into empowering you. For this, you need at least you want to deliver a speech for the first time, not less than 15 times, 5 times you have to practice it. One time I did something by laughing, it's over, I can deliver a speech, you are wrong. Public speaking, remember, defeat your natural public speaking fears, you can do it. Think like that. Create a sincere rapport with your audience. Turn a speech into a conversation. Be open, helpful, brave, transparent, remarkable. Use eye contact, gestures. Without using eye contact and gestures, if you deliver a speech, it is like a skeleton robot delivering a speech. Don't do that. Body language is more and words are less. Always that gives effective. Less does not mean you will not speak anything. No. That's body language 60%, what you speak is 40%. Fine. Body language is 1%, what you speak is 99%, that is waste. Fine. Eye contact, gestures, breathing, everything should be there. Develop, design, and create a master presentation or speech, but tailor your audience. According to the level of your audience, you choose your presentation or public speaking. Effectively deliver the information from the screen to the audience. You are the filter. You yourself, you are the filter. Choose. Prepare potential questions and answers. What are the possible questions I am going to get? How to answer them? Practice that also. Be honest if you don't know the answer. I'm sure I don't know this. Let me get back to this later. You can tell if you don't know the answer. What is wrong with that? There is nothing. If we know everything, we would be gods, am I right? So there's nothing wrong saying no to that. Yeah, I would like to show you one speech. Be there. This small girl, if you are not
end-to-end encryption सिर्फ आपके लिए ही नहीं,
please let me.
आपके हस्बैंड के लिए भी बना है और हर उस चीज के लिए जो आप दोनों शेयर करते हैं प्राइवेटली।
पूरा फैमिली एंटरटेनर चाहिए तो बुक करना अगोड़ा।
16 करोड़ ऐप डाउनलोड्स, 29 लाख होटल्स और होम स्टेज, कमाल के प्राइसेस।
ड्रामा छोड़ो, अगोड़ा ट्राई करो।
Are you able to listen to me?
I am holding something fantastic inside my palm right now that may soon go extinct. It has been around for millions of years. It is older even than the dinosaur and is the primary source of food for every single person on this planet. There is no human who hasn't touched or seen it. Any guesses on what it is? Well, you're absolutely correct. It is soil. Now I know you have a lot of questions like how can soil go extinct and why is an 11-year-old so concerned about soil and not her favorite K-pop artist who is about to drop his next album? Let me tell you something about myself. I've got several talented friends. Some can solve Rubik's Cube pretty fast, some have written and published great books, and some have wonderful YouTube channels. But what is it that I can do? Well, I can talk. I didn't even know that talking could be a talent until they gave me a few awards for just talking. In the 11 years of me being on this planet, so far I've won many public speaking awards, but my interest in soil was purely accidental, Or was it? I was once part of a public speaking workshop along with a bunch of other kids. In one of its sessions, the teacher asked us to list down the topics that we like and the ones that we dislike. My like list included my favorite K-pop band, and my dislike list included environment and all those cliche standard topics we are provided in elocution contests of our school. At the end of the session, we all were provided with a topic each to research and talk upon, but with a twist. The twist was that we were supposed to speak on the topics that we dislike than the ones that we like. So I came around researching a few things on what needs to be saved next, maybe the tiger, the rivers, or the whole planet. But what I discovered next was shocking. I found out something which was brewing over the world, and the situation is so grave that it is capable enough of causing the next world war, and the most terrible one, because the next world war won't be fought over oil and land. Any guesses on what the next world war could be fought on? Well, you are absolutely correct. Food. It is going to be fought over food. We are running out of food because we are running out of the source of food, soil, and we got to act upon it soon. For agricultural soil to be cultivable, it needs a minimum 3 to 6% of organic content in soil. And by the way, rainforests have 70% of them. Do you want to take a guess what is the organic content in soil, for instance, in India? 4? 5? Correct! It is 0.5 least than you could ever expect. And this is not just India. This is happening across the world. Globally, 52% of agricultural land has already been degraded. Simply put, soil all over the world is turning into sand, which means in the upcoming years, soil as we know could go extinct and turn into sand. In the next 20 years, 40% less food is expected for over 9 billion people. And it also seems that the fruits and vegetables we eat today have 90% less nutrients than what our parents and their parents grew up eating. Today, 8 oranges have the same nutritional value as 1 orange back in the 1920s. Now, do you expect an 11-year-old to consume 8 oranges in one sitting just to obtain the nutritional value of 1 orange? If we let this continue, then children will grow up malnourished, unable to blossom into their full potential as human beings. This is a crime against humanity, a silent crime. This world will run out of food, and as dystopian as it may sound, it is practically fair enough to assume that nations could be soon fighting over food. This problem will seep through different aspects of our life. No soil means water absorption will be nil, leading to a massive water crisis. Economically, it is estimated that soil degradation costs the world $10.6 trillion each year. And as someone who has just entered this world for about 11 years, I'm concerned for the coming generations. During my research, I came across this wise old man on the internet who had a beautiful saying which I could never think about. He said, "Everything we see around us, including ourselves, have come up from the soil only." The previous generation, first thing is to spread where we are right now. Unless we fix this, humans will act. We need to rally all the right. We all must commit by restoring at least 3 to 6% of our competition. And this is not just any other. Do your due diligence, speak out and contribute as you see fit. There's this cute story about Krishna in Gokula. One day when he was an infant, his mother Yashoda received a complaint against him. Now those days were different, you see. Today most complaints about children are that they are spending too much time on their phone. But Krishna had no such problem. His complaint was that he was spotted eating soil. And when Ma Yashoda confronted Krishna, he outright denied. She wasn't willing to accept, so she asked him to open his mouth as a proof. And when Krishna finally opened, Ma Yashoda could see the entire universe inside. The mountains, the oceans, the planets, absolutely everything. And isn't it true? Everything we see around us, in some or the other way, have come up from soil only. So even if you don't care about leaving any food behind for me and my entire generation, just in case Krishna comes back someday and is looking to eat soil, let's leave some behind for him. Don't let me down. Save our soil.
So that's it. Yeah. Are you able to see the screen? Ethos, logos, and pathos. Are you able to see someone say yes? Yeah. What is the first word? Yes. What is the first word written on the screen? What is this word? Thank you. A speech has three aspects. The first part, ethos, second part, logos, and the last one is pathos. What do we mean by these words? So public speaking, even presentation and public speaking, as well as presentation, both these things, this directly and indirectly applies. So this first part of ethos is establishing your credentials to be speaking to the audience on the specific subject matter. Is the verbal equivalent of all the degrees. So your audience need to know or believe what is that you are going to tell something trustworthy. What did that girl do? She said something which everyone knows, which everyone is well known to it. So that is what we are going to miss in future. And she dropped soil from her palm, from her hands. Am I right? So making credibility, making audience believing about what you say, that part is called ethos. What is logos? If ethos party, that is making the audience in the first part believe in what you say, if that is ethos, what is logos? If ethos is the ground on which your argument stands, logos is what drives it forward. So think of this as the logic behind your argument. You want your points to seem so straightforward and commanding that your audience cannot conceive of an alternative. That means, how are you developing, I mean to say, examples? What did she say? This is what it is going to happen if the soil is not there. We are not going to have cyber wars. We need not have something else, different wars. We will have shortage of food. That means how she started with ethos, making the audience believe in what she says. How did she start, after that, point by point, how did she build her logic? That part is called logos. How did she bring relevant examples, very relevant, realistic statistics and examples which are highly relevant to what she said? This entire part is called logos. What is pathos? Your logical argument will be that much more persuasive if it wrapped up with a good dose of emotion. Finally, you are going to end your presentation or public speech with emotional appeal. Because of the way we use the word pathos is a modern word, you may be thinking of something dramatic and see, what did she say in the last? You see, Krishna, when he ate soil, the whole world appeared. That Krishna's example at last, how did she use? At least people who want to play like him, leave some soil, means to that extent the thing is going to become extinct. So that is a very emotional touch she gave at the last. This is the way we are supposed to end our presentation with emotional appeal, our public speech also with emotional appeal, making a very indelible mark on the minds of the audience. Fine, there I'm done. Students, my topics for today are over. I would like to end sharing screen and give it for any question answer session, because I believe asking questions and replying, that is more important along with whatever we present. Thank you, one and all. Anyone can? Unmute and ask questions or message and get replies. Yeah. This is the time for asking any questions, last 15 minutes. So, how was the speech? How was the speech of the girl? How was the speech of the girl? Can someone reply? Have you all understood what we meant ethos, logos, and pathos? Yes. Have you observed how she brought out the emotional element of the examples? Have you observed how the girl brought out the emotional element of the examples connected together? Fine. So, of all the speeches I have, this girl's speech really, you see, she did not look down. You see, she covered audience, every nook and corner. She covered the entire audience, all the entire corners. If you observe it, definitely you will be able to, you will wonder how such a girl makes it. When such a girl can deliver such a good presentation, as a grown-ups, we can definitely, we are supposed to deliver speeches at least 20 times better than her. That should be your target. It was wonderfully presented. She spoke very well with relevant real life example for better understanding. Thank you all for your patient watching and patient listening to whatever I said. Fine. And what is the definition of communication, effective communication? The speaker at the center of the message, if he sends the message to the receiver in such a way that he wants him to understand, then that is called effective communication. If I want you to understand the way I wanted you to understand, I achieved the purpose. That is the actual definition for effective communication. Not all the definitions that are available across the world in Google. Please don't depend on Google too much. To some extent, you can depend. That's good. But I need your creative definitions. For that reason, I always believe that, you speak more, my presentation would be successful. If you ask more doubts, if you present, you interact more, I feel that whatever I'm dealing, that would be successful. Right? So any questions, please type, or any questions you want me to unmute you, you can ask directly. Fine. This entire thing, presentation will be shared by either Amar sir or any one of the friends from ExcelR. No need to worry. Fine. They'll share it. And in addition to this PPT, you will get much, including this video, link and everything, you will get it. No need to worry. Fine. These students, we are always worried about material only, no need to worry. Yes. Anything more you expect? Anything more you want to share your ideas, ask any questions, you are all welcome. 10 minutes time is there. Please ask questions, unmute or type your questions. Yes, any questions? 155 participants are still there. Have you all? 1 minute. I'm typing it. I'm asking you. Yeah, I want to summarize the session as effective communication is such a thing that keeping all 7 C's into mind and communicated and drafted, planned and sent properly. That is effective communication. And effective presentation. Know your audience first. Know your context first. Have enough preparation and practice well. Planning fails, any part of planning fails, you are failing. So your planning should be more, your preparation should be more than what you present. If that is the thing, what you did, then your presentation is successful. Start with very good, credible example and present one by one thought with very good figures, exact figures, and very colorful presentation. And keep always technical failures into consideration and keep the text matching color, all these things within the context and according to the context. Where are you giving or delivering the presentation? Keep that in mind, and then you prepare your presentation. I always prefer white background, black letters. The reason is it suits an elementary school. It suits IITs, IIMs also. Because the corners, who is seated at the corner diagonally, he will not have a parallax error, or he will not miss the color combination because of gaudy color combinations. He will not be able to he also should be able to follow. All in the audience should be able to follow our presentation, or should be able to understand whatever we say. Then only we are successful. Got it? That's it. That is about powerful presentation. Have complete, very good professional eye contact. It doesn't matter even if you come down the podium and roam across, cover across the entire audience while delivering presentation. That means presentation, the slide will be there on the slide, on the presentation screen LCD. You roam, you talk to them, you explain each and everything by physically coming to audience side, then it would be more effective. They think that this fellow has prepared to that extent that, without seeing, he's explaining like that. Fine, it should be that much impressive. That should be our target for presentation. Public speaking, very attractive introduction like Sisters and Brothers of America. This means, of course, this suited that situation while Swami Vivekananda was delivering the speech. It may not suit all situations, but always you start with a very good, impressive starting. Next, transition means how do you give examples? Ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos, logos, and pathos. How do you win other viewers, that is audiences, credibility? How do you make believe in whatever you say? That is first part. Second part is how well you connect ideas and give examples. Third part is like Lord Krishna's example, how she said, like that, how are you going to end your presentation or deliver your speech with a very good example and suddenly stop it there and leave it there and say thank you all. So this is what I am summarizing. Fine. I am summarizing the session in this way. Fine. Anything more? Yeah, any more messages? Can you please suggest any website or material to improve English communication for beginners? The best thing for improving English is surround yourself with people who speak only in English. Surround yourself. The best spoken English class, the best book also will not be useful. See, I'll tell you one simple example. Generally, I don't speak English. I am such a person, I don't want to speak in English. But if I'm landed in New York, what will happen if I have to beg? If I have to make something, if I want to achieve something, I need to use only English. So surround yourself. When you are speaking with a foreigner, unknowingly, your accent, there's a small change in your accent. That means your mind tells this is the accent that will be understood by him. So when there is a slight change in the accent, how is it changing? The reason is you are speaking with a foreigner, your mind tells you that you must not speak in a countryside, village side accent. So you must slightly change your accent so that it would suit to the occasion. Likewise, surround yourself with the people who speak only in English. Make friendship with the people who speak only in English. There are good books, but by studying good books, it is something like I want to learn swimming. Besides swimming pool, I would be doing research on how to swim. If someone pushes me into the swimming pool, then I will learn swimming. Of course, some guide should be there, some teacher should be there. All right. So the best thing is surround yourself with people who speak only in English. Make mistake, argue with them, learn from them. The more number of mistakes you make, the more number of opportunities you will get to correct. If you don't speak up at all, if you don't want to utter anything, if you don't want to open up your mouth, you will be the loser. Surround yourself with people, do friendship with people who speak only in English. Even if you don't do friendship, surround yourself, talk to them more, talk to them more. Surround yourself with their company so that you will improve. That is the best suggestion I can give. Fine. Of course, there are any number of books, but books secondary. Practically surround yourself. What is the right way? If you have people, 15 people around you who speak exemplary English, obviously you will learn. Automatically you will start learning. If you are surrounded with people who speak worst English, who make many mistakes unknowingly, you will also learn the same thing. Am I right? So we are imitating film stars. Am I right? The same imitation happens when we surround with the right people. Fine. Same imitation happens when we surround with the wrong people. So try to have the company of people who speak good English and who can suggest you. This is the way to talk. This is the way to speak. This is the way not to speak. So make yourself be in their company. That is the best suggestion I can give. Yes. Anything more? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you all. It's a wonderful session. Thank you all. You are. Hope you all will put whatever you want today into practice. Yes. Closing the session.
Hi team, thank you so much for joining the session. You have any query or question for me? And I already shared the attendance link in the chat box. Please mark your attendance. Guys, any query question? YouTube peoples? Ashwini is saying the session is very helpful for good and effective communication skills. Thank you, Ashwini. Attendance link is not visible. Mronali, I am sharing with you again.
అటెండెన్స్ లిస్ట్ ఇచ్చేసాను సార్.
Sorry?
అదే అటెండెన్స్ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ పెట్టినాను కదా సార్, అది పెట్టాను సార్.
Okay, thank you. Varsha, I think I already dropped an email or message to you.
ఇంకా కొంతమంది ఉన్నారు.
Varsha, we are on it. It will take us some time, okay? Okay, guys, then thank you so much for joining the session. We'll meet you on tomorrow at the same time.